Let's see what's on the platter tonight. I got to tell you what, this looks like one of those videos, a really intelligent video. I'm going to have to hang on here to every single word the 10-pound 42 is about to express. Chris Roberts was right about CryEngine in 2010. This is a man that understands history. This is a man that has been around probably as long as we have. 10-pound 42, I think, is a vet. We all understand when we say CryEngine, there's a lot of emotions for us veterans. A lot of the new kids on the block that they just joined like a year or 2, 3 years ago, they don't remember like CryEngine. Like those two words together, they don't remember. But I do, and some of you do. Let's see what 10-pound 42 has to say.
Sometime around 2010, Chris Roberts made the fateful decision to start developing a small demo using the CryEngine. Star Citizen was born, but for many years, choosing to go with CryTek's engine looked like it might have been a huge mistake. Other engines came out with impressive tech, CRG struggled to get the game running well, there was a switch to a fork of the engine called Lumberyard, and CryTek ended up suing CRG. It's been a complicated 15 years. Now, over those many years, many people have asked, why doesn't CRG switch to something like Unreal Engine 5? This video will show why that was never going to happen and why CR was actually right to choose the CryEngine all along.
Also, one of the dumbest fucking questions in the world, because, I mean, like, dudes, if you're changing the engine, you're basically, like, starting from scratch anyway. It would be a giant overhaul. I would love if they used Unreal Engine, but they're not going to. They've got Star Engine now, which is an amalgam of CryEngine and Lumberyard. And forever shall it be this. That's what Star Engine is going to be. You're not going to escape that engine. That's the engine you got. And frankly, it's not that bad. I mean, like, did you see CitizenCon and what it's capable of doing? I mean, like, there's some great things about this. And Star Citizen gets a really bad rap, more so because of server tech related issues. But I won't get into that. Let's keep going.
We're going to cover why CRG has been able to make this work, why Epic's Unreal Engine wouldn't work, and what CRG needs to do to make this the best game engine in the whole industry. First, let's go on a short journey through the history of what we now call the Star Engine.
Here we go.
This is actually best explained by Sean Tracy, who worked for CryTek and was part of a small team of people that helped Chris Roberts put together that initial demo. Here's a clip of him explaining how the project started.
Well, it was really interesting. Back in 2010, I think it was, Chris came into my office with Ortwin, and my office being the GDC CryEngine booth. And we started talking about how to do a space game on the CryEngine. And this was back in 2010. And a lot of people, and hell, a lot of people still even now are like, well, CryEngine, you can't do that. I don't know how you'd ever do such large environments, how you'd ever carry around so many ships, because, it was mostly FPS engine. Chris being, how he is, he wanted kind of some proof, basically. So we gave him the SDK. He started building up the Hornet. So that was the very first ship that he sort of built up. He implemented all these thrusters and things like this. And this was after our first little demo. Then we met up, I think it was about 6 months later, or it might even been an entire year later. And he came in with an implementation of his own ship, right? Flying around pretty much. He had...
I remember watching this with everyone. I remember this one. I specifically remember this. That's how crazy long I've been in this. Look how young Jared looks in that. Is that not fucking nuts? Is it not fucking nuts how long we've all been at this, man? I mean, what a fucking journey this has been. Like, truly, truly amazing that we've been this together, this long, this far together. First off, dudes.
Yes, sir. You're not gonna hate me. Yes.
No matter what happens, I think this journey's fucking awesome. Like, this entire journey. If it were all to go down in a ball of flames right now, I'd still be like, listen, to experience it is fucking top notch. Like, to experience this moment in history to see if this will make it or break it is really the most fun thing ever in the world. I don't get people that come to this project and throw poop on it consistently. I don't get it, because if you're that angry at it, why are you around throwing poop at it? There's part of you that cares. Otherwise, you wouldn't throw the poop in the first place. You understand the people that throw poop continually on the project, they could just leave. Like, if they really, they don't care about it, they should just leave it and let it alone. Like any rational human being, go out, touch some grass, find another title. You know, if they hate it that bad and throw so much poop at it, you got to ask yourself, like, why they keep throwing the poop at it. Well, there's something underneath all that poop, and that's the fact that they still wish there was a game like Star Citizen, even if they don't think it's Star Citizen. Can I get an amen? You guys know where I'm coming from?
Yes, you're gonna hate me.
I hope you guys do get where I'm coming from, because those people that hate it the most, man, those people, they're fucking like, man, they're even more angry because they feel like they are going to get shit on. And if they do, hey, they get shit on. If we all get shit on, we get shit on. Like I said, for me, it's about being here with the people in the journey, whether it succeeds or fails. But for people that continually throw the poop on it, they're pissed off because they were promised a game they think they're not going to get with Star Citizen. And now that's like burns even deeper and darker. And they're mad because they're like, shit, my game's not going to be made. And these motherfuckers maybe believe in them and I hate them for it, right? And that's kind of where that's coming from. That's kind of where that hatred's coming from, where people's coming from. I'm kind of coming from it with like a rational thing. If I was in the shoes of the people that were throwing poop all the time, I'd come to a conclusion where, like, I'm just going to play another game. It probably wouldn't take me long to figure that out. To be honest, it probably take me a week. Right? I mean, really, does anybody talk about it like this? If you didn't like something that you were involved in and you threw some money in it and then you were like, fuck it, it would take you like a week to walk away from it. Like a rational adult, you just be like, fuck it. Maybe you'd throw a poop comment here and there, but then you wouldn't like continually track and throw poop comments in there because you just be like, fuck it. Like, you know, but a rational adult, well, they're gonna kind of walk away. So, you know, for the people that are left here, we are kind of like the dreamers, like the people that are the dreamers. And there's 1,000 hiccups, there's 1,000 problems, right? We understand, but we've been doing it this long. We want to see it through for good or bad. And we're getting towards the end of the journey, and all of us know it. We're not deluded. We're not jaded. We understand because we understand game development after all this time. We understand because we've gone through many, many patches, many, many bugs, many, many successes, many, many failures, one of which 10pound42 is talking about, right? This whole CryTek thing was a huge thing where Star Citizen, Sig, Chris, they all felt stuck contractually. It was a legal mess. We didn't think they would ever get out of it. And then a small few of us were like, well, we're in the fucking ride. Let's get through CryTek. We're going to do it. They're going to figure it out. And what did they do? They did it.
Yes, you're not gonna hate me.
So, like, that's what I guess I'm talking about. Like, the people that have been around the longest that really, truly want this game to be a reality, we've gone through so many hard times and so many stages of people telling us that this wasn't becoming a reality. And we've seen so much of it come true that even through the bugs, that even through the shit, we've seen the progress, we've seen the successes, and we'd rather focus on the successes than focus on the shit. That doesn't mean there isn't shit. That doesn't mean we're oblivious to it. That doesn't mean we're not going to constructively give them criticism, Cloud Imperium, and the game itself for the hard times that we have. Trust me, there are plenty here. There are plenty with you guys. The frustrations with 4.1, I'm off the charts with it. I'm going to testify right now. I am off the fucking charts. I had such a hard time, but it was to be expected. And why did I expect it? because every patch the first couple days is just a fucking mess. And shame on Cloud Imperium, because they need to make the process better and stick through on the after patch release. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Can I get an amen for that?
Yes, sir. Can I get an amen? Yes.
They're shooting themselves in the foot because they're promising a stable experience. And we're getting towards the latter half of the project. And now when the update comes along with tier 0 fucking item recovery that some people are upset about, and these changes that are happening to keep asses in seats, to keep people playing the game. They're doing these things, right, to help counterbalance the fucking bullshit and stability. They released the patch 4.1, and most of people just can't get in and play because that's what we all expect after patches. But shouldn't they start focusing on making these releases a little better, a little more playable? Because they're going to turn people off that are new here. You guys get what I'm saying? I'm not being, this is, again, constructive criticism. What's up, Execute? How you doing, buddy?
Yes, sir. Can I get an amen? Yes.
So like I said, I'm not jaded. You know, when it comes to this project, we're all coming at this from a very level head. Everybody in here, we've gone through decades of this. We know what we're in. A lot of people, when they throw poop, they think, oh, these people, the people who support Star Citizen, they don't know what they're in. They don't get it. Yeah, no, we get it. So there's constructive criticism to be had too. But again, we've seen the progress. CryTek was a huge thing. Let's get back to 10 pound 42. I'll get off my soapbox.
Asked us how to do a space environment, so showed him how to get rid of all the terrain, how you can just be flying around, things like this. So he came in, and we were super impressed with the fact that he did this himself. So then what I did, I recruited a guy named Hannes Apfel, who now works for us as well. He's the cinematics director, as well as Paul Reindel. And we were all still at CryTek at the time. And what I had said to them was like, listen, we really want to close this license. This will be an amazing game to have on the CryEngine. So what we did was put together that very first crowdfunding video that you guys saw.
The demo proved to be a huge draw. Millions and millions and millions of dollars were raised. But even early on in the project, CIG realized that it would take some significant changes to the engine in order to realize the game's potential. Here is Chris Roberts speaking in 2014.
So yeah, and I'm very satisfied with CryEngine so far. It's a very powerful engine. I think it's one of, if not the best looking engine out there for the kind of look and style that I want, which is a sort of more photorealistic look.
I wondered how long the paper would anchor his hand movements. These are the old days, man. I miss this. Like, I used to look forward to 10 for the chair, and anytime Chris spoke, because both A, he's a hell of a salesman and he's super passionate, right? But B, it was always like his hand gestures. Like, I was like, how is what what's Chris doing tonight? What's Chris doing? It's like some ancient Wu-Tang Clan shit, you know? Like, it's like, come on, Chris.
I mean, obviously
that paper anchored his hands for a little bit, though.
We have some challenges because we're using the engine for something that it wasn't primarily built for, i.e. we're having big space, open, like space. We got vehicles that fly at fast speeds over long distances, whereas CryEngine was built for sort of first-person on-foot combat. So generally their play areas are sort of 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers or 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers. Ours will be millions of kilometers across. So we have to do modifications to the engine to enable that. But, most of the things I think that I want to get done are getting done. I mean, there is some longer term stuff I want to do where we're going to go seamlessly from, say, space down to the planet. This is very long term, not the initial release. But we're pretty sure that we'll be able to get that worked into the framework of the engine. I mean, my guess is that down the road...
You notice he said planet side, and at the time there was no planet side. There was no uninterrupted landing. There was nothing at the time, and everybody told us that's not happening. They said, oh, you guys are fucking dreamers. You guys are ridiculous. This guy's taking your money. He's never going to give you that. Right. So like that, again, is where I'm coming from with this. I know they're slow, but boom, They will deliver. It takes a long time, and people don't want to hear that. That's not the popular take. The popular take is, oh, we're all going to die. Everything's going up in flames. They took your money. They're thieves. They robbed you blind. In the middle of the night, they came, and they they strapped you down. They took all your money. You know, it's like whatever the biggest clickbait shit is, that's what's exciting. Oh, my God, people are flocking to that shit. Oh, my God, I'm going to run right in. What the fuck happened? What did he say? What, Star Citizen's not going to make it? Oh, my God, wait, what? Oh my God, he's taking money. Oh, like, you know, like, it's fucking crazy with this shit, man. It's just craziness. If I say, hey, they came through on promises, nothing but fucking crickets. Like, nothing but fucking crickets. Like, what? Nobody's coming to my stream. I'm saying like nice positive things. What? I gotta say something pissy and shitty. Oh, something's going on with Chris and Sandy. We know it. Oh, you guys like that? That's getting me better ratings. Oh my God, thank you. Oh yeah, Sandy's cheating on him, that crazy hoe, and Chris is out now. He's drinking everywhere, and clicks, what? Oh. No. People don't want to hear that like promises were kept. People don't want to hear the good news. There's good news. People don't want to hear. They just want to hear about like, oh my God, Chris bought a yacht with your money. Oh my God, I got 10,000 views. 10,000 views, Pepe. 10,000. What's that? What's that, Pepe? Chris Roberts was spotted cheating with multiple different women, having a giant orgy on the yacht that he built with the funders' money. Oh my God! Wait, we're getting an influx of viewers right now, Pepe. It's 120. It's 1,000. We're going to 1,000. Here we go. We're getting. Yeah. But if I say, wow, here's an example of Chris saying we're going to have planets and planetary landing uninterrupted, and we're going to get planets when in a time where people were saying we were full of shit, right? Then I get this. Where'd everybody go? Does anybody want to hear they made planets? Hello? They made planets you can land on. Okay, yeah. Hello? No, nobody wants to hear that? No, nobody wants to hear that, Pepe. Nobody wants to hear. What's that? Chris was cheating on his yacht that he bought with fans' money? Oh my God. They're coming through the door. I can't hold it back. They're coming through the door. It's so fucking crazy, man. The whole thing. When I look at it from my end of this, you know, as somebody that does this for a living, and I know this happens to Execute too, if Execute's still here, and he can attest to this. Like when you start doing this, you're doing it because you're passionate and you love it. But then you start seeing certain people, and it's just like, you're like, whoa. You look at it and you're like, wow, like people are clicking on this shit. And then you see people liking it and then agreeing with some of this fucking clickbait shit. And it's like looking behind the curtain and seeing the Wizard of Oz. And you're just like, holy shit. You say, is this really the case with the public? Are they really this fucking stupid? And the answer is yes. Let's hear Pepe. Pepe, they're not our audience. But by the way, not our audience. Not our audience. We're fucking awesome. Let me be clear. I'm being sarcastic about most fucking people that are not in our group. Can I hear how awesome our group is? I'm referring to us. I'm referring to us. Right, not us. Good song.
As we're up and running, as we continue to add more content, you know, the engine itself will be so heavily modified that it won't really resemble the base engine it came from, because we've got such specific needs for what we're doing. But yeah, it's a great engine. We're really happy. We really love the look of it.
His prediction that the engine would need to be unrecognizable really from the base version of CryEngine was actually spot on. Over the course of development, CIG has taken on massive tech projects to attempt to bend the CryEngine to its needs. The conversion to 64-bit precision, the procedural planet tech, object container streaming, persistence, and just at the end of 2024, server meshing finally arrived. The company has taken a very long time to make this game, and one of the key reasons for that is that they've done huge amounts of work to the engine. Along the way, CryEngine announced that they had moved over to Lumberyard at the end of 2016. Now, this sounds like a drastic move, but actually the Lumberyard engine was a forked version of CryEngine licensed by Amazon, and this move seems to have been mostly about allowing CryEngine to tap into Amazon's AWS platform. Then, at the end of 2017, CryTek sued. Now, at the time, this all felt a bit worrying. I'm sure it's not what Chris Roberts and the team wanted, and it caused a certain amount of stress in the community, but in the end, it kind of all just fizzled out and CryEngine just carried on. So, the choice to go with CryEngine hasn't exactly been straightforward, and you might be tempted to think that in the end it's caused more hassle than it was worth. But when you fast forward to today, the alternative options don't look that great. The industry standard engine that so many game studios use has gone through a bit of a fall from grace. Unreal Engine has been the go-to engine for game developers for a while now. It's an off-the-shelf solution that allows game studios to focus on making a game rather than building their own engine. Epic develops it, adds the shiny new features, and you as the developer, you just get to use it. It sounds great. But over the last few years, the feeling towards Unreal has started to shift. It used to be, wow, look at Nanite and Lumen. Look at how advanced this engine is. But now you're more likely to hear people complaining about yet another Unreal Engine game with stuttering issues. Jedi Survivor, the Star Wars game, was a notable example of this. Developed on Unreal Engine 4, at launch it suffered with a bunch of issues, and some of those issues still haven't been completely fixed. And unfortunately, some of these issues just carry over into Unreal 5 engine games. There are plenty of examples of just games that don't perform very well on Unreal Engine. The reasons Star Citizen could never swap over to UE5 are best summed up by the thoughts of the studio director for another CryEngine based game, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. KCD2 has been really well received and by most accounts performs really well. And the co-founder of Warhorse Studios had some pretty blunt things to say about Unreal Engine 5 about a year ago. Here's a section from a Windows Central article. In an interview from 11 months ago, the co-founder of Warhorse Studios, Daniel Vivara, was asked why he chose CryEngine to power.
By the way, we are giving away Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in March, and the giveaway video will be tomorrow. Thanks to Hugh, who is a gentleman. Where's my Hugh button, Pepe? Where is it? Where's my Hugh button? There he is.
Hugh is an upstanding gentleman.
So we are giving away Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in March, and we're giving a Star Citizen package away in April. Hugh, where are you, Hugh? We miss you, bro. Get on stream, bro.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 versus something like Unreal Engine. At the time, nothing else could handle it like this, and to be fair, Unreal couldn't run it even today, Daniel said in February 2024. He continued, I talk with the guys who are making The Witcher, or from studios that are just trying to make some open world games on Unreal because there aren't really any open world games on Unreal. Assassin's Creed, everything like that is on their own engine.
Right for Hugh,
CD Projekt Red just switched to Unreal, even though, in my opinion, they had a really good proprietary engine. I talked to someone whose name I obviously can't say and said to him, so how about Unreal? Great, we already have pieces done like some landscapes. And I said, well, what about the open world? Not yet. When did they announce it? A year or two ago, and it still doesn't work. UE5 just doesn't seem to be that well suited to large open world games in its.
Yes, I have been hearing that as well. I don't work with these engines. I would love to get into that. However, I just do not have the time to, but oh my God, I would love it. But talking to devs, they tell me the same thing, that real engine cannot handle very large spaces. Like open worlds, forget about it. So it's kind of interesting to me to hear that.
Its current state, and never mind a seamless galaxy simulator like Star Citizen. You might say, well, surely some game developers can fix some of these issues. That's their job, isn't it? And the answer is probably more complicated than we've really got time for here, but all game devs are not equal. Most game studios don't have the knowledge or the time to do major engine refactors for UE5. One of the key reasons that a studio will choose Epic's engine is because Epic is supposed to look after all the hard stuff. Epic's engineers, the people who built the engine, are supposed to fix major performance issues. Things like shader compilation or traversal stutter, they're just not problems that most game studios want to or can fix. So no, Unreal Engine 5 is not the arts of Star Citizen. Most of the work that CRG has done transforming the CryEngine would just have to be done all over again to Epic's engine. CRG's version of the CryEngine can now do so many things that UE5 can't. To abandon Star Engine now would be genuinely insane. But if fixing Unreal Engine is too much for your average game studio, how did CRG manage to utterly transform the CryEngine? There are three main answers to this. One, we, the community, gave them loads and loads of money. Two, they've been given so much time, more than a decade. And three, the most important, they hired a bunch of CryTek devs with years and years of experience in the CryEngine. You could argue that if CryTek had been able to pay their staff properly, Star Citizen might be nowhere near as successful as it is now. When CRG started up back in 2011, 2012, they had the same issues that other studios have with...
Oh, sorry about that. My son, that was my mother calling me on the phone. And I didn't want to pause it that whole time, you understand, because I'm a professional and I understand about entertainment. I just wanted to let everybody know my mother called because my son is in an issue where he's watching two dogs. And I screwed up the garage code on the keypad for the house that he's at. Can we hear it for myself? Fucking awesome. I love technology. And of course, there's only the garage as a point of entry for him to use. And because the garage won't open and I screwed up the keypad, that things seem to be an issue right now. And I told her that after my stream, later tonight, I will go over there. She said, okay, well, he's safe inside, but the garage door is still not working. So I said, okay, let me go over there and fix the screw up that I did. Me, Dad. All right, let's hear it from me, Dad. Best dad in the world. Best dad. Best dad ever in the world. Screwing up the my son's employer's garage. Way to go, Dad. So I know what I'll be doing later tonight around 11 o'clock after the D&D stream. I will be working on a garage. Yes, sounds like a fun time, doesn't it? Oh, yes. It is so fun being a dad sometimes. Let's hear it for being dads. Being dad. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it, you know, when our sons need us and, you know, that you go out and you're like, hey, I'm going to get like a sandwich for my boy, you know, and then you go over there and what do? You screw up the garage. You get him the sandwich, but then you screw up the garage. And, yeah. And then what do you got to do? Well, you got to fix it. You're a dad. Welcome to being a dad. Yay! Yay!
Unreal Engine now. They didn't make the engine and their understanding of how it worked and how to modify it would have been seriously limited. But what if you can solve that by hiring a load of people who have worked with the engine for years and some who are heavily involved in the architecture of it? Well, that's effectively what happened. Here's Sean Tracy again explaining how he came to work at CRG.
I mean, it's pretty public, but CryTek had some financial issues, so this was kind of an easy move, and there was a lot of different licensees that were talking to a few of us about moving over to them. And honestly, I always wanted to work on Star Citizen.
CryTek over the last 10 or so years has been on the brink financially. At various points, there have been reports of staff not being paid, and understandably, that has led to some developers leaving, and CRG picked up many of them. CryTek has a studio in Frankfurt, and guess where CRG happened to base their German office? Yes, it's Frankfurt.
Man, they got a lot of people from CryTek.
But CRG managed to very effectively recruit some absolute CryEngine wizards, and if you go back through the Star Citizen YouTube channel, there are countless examples of devs who came over from CryTek. This is pretty much the secret sauce behind why CRG has been able to push the engine so far. People who would have had years and years working the CryEngine have been able to slowly refactor it into the Star engine. Without these key hires from CryTek, there's no real way that the scope and scale of the game would have expanded so much, and therefore CRG wouldn't have been able to crowdfund nearly $800 million. And the fact that the community threw money at the game definitely helped. Game studios don't normally get the opportunity to go crazy like CRG has done. In the early days, it felt like every single good idea ended up being enveloped into the project. Feature creep was the name of the game, and there have been obvious negatives to this approach. But from the engine side, the lack of financial pressure to pump out a finished game has just allowed the devs to produce an engine like nothing else out there. And that money has then allowed for time. Having no publisher for SC has allowed CIG to take their sweet time. Things like server meshing that took many years longer than we expected would probably have been cancelled at other game studios for a lesser implementation.
I gotta say, I somewhat kind of disagree with that opinion. Like, I knew what they were trying to do was going to take a long fucking time because the tech isn't even out there. Like, what they were proposing, I was like, there's no fucking way anybody can do that. In order to have that tech, like, you would have to invent it. So I knew this was going to be a real fucking long time. 10 years-ish. We're over that now. So it took a little bit longer than I expected. But back then I was like, yeah, 10 years. 20, it would have been, I gave it to 2023 is when I gave it. So what? I might be off by what? 3-4 years? Not too bad. Not great. Not great. Not too bad. If that's what ends up happening. I thought it was going to take a long time. I knew it was going to take a long time. When they said, hey, this is what we want to do with this game, I was like, this is going to take fucking forever. I didn't expect 20 years. I didn't expect 20. I said 10. I said 10. I said 10, Betty. In 2015, I gave a date, dude. Damon, don't you remember the video where? No. Damon says, why didn't you tell us in 2015 if you knew, DG? I did a 2017 video. And in that, I think it was the truth about Star Citizen or something like that. In that particular video, and I'm pretty sure it was in that video, I said that it was going to be done around 2022, 2023. And like I'm telling you, 26, I might be off 3 years. Which back in the day before 2017, that was kind of bold. That was kind of bold to do. But anyway.
But not CIG. They just kept going and kept going until they got it working. And again,
and Betty was around long enough to because Betty disagreed with me in that video. Holy shit, Betty, you're right, dude. Yeah, like Betty remembers that because Betty and Damon have been around forever. Thank you, Betty. Betty's here testifying. Betty's here testifying. They call me the banana fountain. I'm not taking too much credit for that because 3 years off is 3 years off. That's not that great. It's not that good of a prediction. I shouldn't banana fountain myself for that.
Some people might have preferred a scaled down version of Star Citizen that maybe would have released in like 2018, but that's just not what's happened. Unlimited money and unlimited time combined with very talented and experienced CryEngine devs have taken us way past what I was expecting when I first backed the project in 2013. But what is the future of the Star engine? What do they still need to add? Can an engine whose birth was over 2 decades ago compete with modern engines? If CIG stopped developing the engine right now, well, it wouldn't be great. Aside from major performance problems, which we'll talk about in a moment, there are still key elements missing from a modern game engine. Ray tracing, whether you love it or hate it, is a requirement for AAA games these days. CIG has shown off progress of its ray trace global illumination over the last couple of years. It looks good, and I'm expecting that will probably drop with Squadron 42 and then make its way into the persistent universe sometime later.
I'm listening to this music, right? I'm listening to the beat of this music. I'm watching all these upgrades and things that have been worked on and where we've come. And I'm starting to wonder, like, what if this thing just keeps on going and rolling and bringing in more dough, right? Like, okay, in order for that to happen, obviously, Squadron 42 has to be a pretty big hit. They got to get a good ROI. They got to make a nice chunk of change on that. If they don't, that's a setback. Okay, 2 different paths there. Let's go with the positive one. Let's say they make a big chunk. They get a chunk of change with it. They reinvest into PU. They put a little aside towards the next chapter. Okay, rinse, wash, repeat. In the meantime, the PU is still going. Oh, it's starting to unfold right now. I'm starting to enhance myself right now. Holy shit. Holy shit, this is what's happening. This is exactly what's going to happen. Squadron 42, if it hits, if it makes the chunk of change, guess what? Rinse, wash, repeat for next chapter. Continue to make the PU. Why you go to the next one? How many years do we add? This is very controversial now. This is very controversial where this one's going.
Later, last we heard, you will be able to play with a software version of their global illumination system. So, unlike some recent games, you won't be forced to play with ray tracing or required to have RT hardware in your GPU, but we'll see. Frame generation is another hot topic. NVIDIA has gone all in on using frame gen.
Limitless at 69 for the final answer. There you go, Limitless. I'm sorry what I did there. I'm really sorry. I apologize. But I did see a future. I did see a reality. Y'all have to admit I went a little banana fountain on that. I did see one reality happen in my head. I did. I went there.
Banana fountain?
Yeah. Mad
as a marketing tool.
Mad Style is right. After the 3 chapters of Squadron 42, the next will be Squadron 69. Where's my map? Then we rinse, wash, repeat. Then we're all 69 years old when this happens. And then we're all 69. Hell, I think Betty's getting close anyway. Damn it, Betty.
Promising giant frame rates with modest hardware, fake frames as many are calling them. Personally, in certain cases, I think it can be a very useful technology. Again, I would expect that to be an option that arrives with Squadron 42. And then we've got the graphics rendering. DX11 has been used from the start of the project. The base version of CryEngine, that's what it used. But CIG has been very slowly rolling out Vulkan. Lots of reasons why they've done this, but it's not really the time to go into them here. They've not finished this task yet. We're still waiting for the version of Vulkan with multi-threaded rendering, but it is in progress. And then there is the big one, the engine development that could take the Star engine to a completely different level, dynamic server meshing. The current version of static server meshing that we have in the live game consists of one shard made up of 10 servers with 600 players. Those 10 servers look after different regions of the game, certain planets, moons, empty space. But the issue with this approach is that you can have certain servers with higher proportion of players and then others with sometimes maybe less than 10 players on them. And therefore, server tick rate can vary pretty massively between different regions of the game. The server for Lawville, for example.
Okay, Daft, put a poll up if you're still here, buddy, or Mad Style, put a poll up. And I want the poll to be like, how are you feeling right now with Star Citizen? Happy or sad? Maybe happy, mad, and sad as choices. Like, let's just talk about feelings while we're watching this video. If Mad Style or Daft, my super mods out there, can put a poll up that says, how are you feeling about Star Citizen? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you mad? Like, feelings. Nothing more than feelings. You got put those up. I want to hear the feelings bleed through.
Often has way more players on it
put it on a poll.
The server looking after Checkmate Station in Pyro, in my experience. Dynamic meshing aims to fix this by allowing servers to dynamically resize as needed. So if in my example, Checkmate Station only has 15 players on it, that server's influence could either grow to look after more of Pyro or maybe just be taken over completely by another server. More servers could spin up in...
I'm voting sad. I'm in a sad point with Star Citizen right now just because I'm getting frustrated. I want to hear more talk about the stability. I want to talk about, over a month now where we had that Star Citizen live and Benoit got on with Jared and talked about how the focus was going to be on stability. I want to talk about it. That's where I'm at. I'm going to vote sad right now when that poll. How are you feeling? Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the poll right now. Let's do this. I'm going to take this poll. That didn't sound right at all. Nobody clipped that. I'm going to vote sad. The choices are, how are you feeling about SC? Happy, sad, angry, don't care. I know, Damon, you probably voted don't care. I know you voted don't care. I'm going to go sad right now. I just want more talk about stability. So that's my vote. I'm voting sad. I don't want to be a sad person, but I'm kind of feeling a little sad right now. And I was frustrated with 4.1, and I tried to get some gaming going, and I was having a hard issue with it. So, you know, hey, that's where I'm at. I want to see something a little bit more. We have 11 votes right now. Primarily, we got a happy and we got a don't care. That's because we have a mixed audience. Some people in here are not Star Citizens at all, which is awesome. Some people are just watching because they love me. Can we hear the people that just love me? Like, look, all the people that voted don't care, they absolutely adore me. I fucking love you. That's the DG vote. That's the DG vote, man. Thank you. Thank you. What's up, Fat Bird? How you doing, buddy? You're up next, man. We got a cool video from you. I got a notice in the Discord, so I can't wait to watch that, buddy. Hey, how you feeling right now? How you feeling, Fat Bird? Take that poll. What's your feelings, dude? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Or you just don't care about SC right now? Like, give me your feelings, man. Put the feelings in there. And also, can my super mods get a follow for Fat Bird because he's fucking awesome? Can we get a follow for Fat Bird here? Doing pretty good. Cooking dinner right now. Oh, dude, what you making? I just had myself some Bojangles. Oh, shit. There's a Bojangles near me. They're chicken sandwiches. You got to try those out. I haven't had fast food in forever. I'm getting fat. Getting fat, man. Look at that. Dr. Aether says DG360 is my obsession. Hell yeah. Oh, yes. Erad was just saying that. Erad was just saying the same thing, dude. All right, let's keep going. We're almost finished with 10 Pound 42's video here about CryTek, which, let me tell you, this is some serious history being brought up here, man. This is an era that I'm glad is over and done with. The whole CryTek thing, holy shit, man, what a headache that was.
Stanton to look after the higher play count there. And if lots of players decide to jump to Pyro, well, then the servers would dynamically change
Go
to
follow
the best
Fat
configuration.
Bird.
That's the theory behind it, at least. But the key point is that rather than some devs at CRG having to work out all the load and balancing for the server meshing, the system should be able to scale and morph on its own.
Doing great, buddy.
Who knows how far away this is? My prediction is it's probably a while away, but this is what should, in theory, allow for massive player counts. Apart from those big changes to the engine, CRG has also laid out their plans for PlanetTech. At last year's CitizenCon, things look like they're going to take another step forward. People sometimes worry about Star Citizen's graphics and maybe they won't hold up, the engine's so old, but Chris Roberts is all about fidelity and immersion, those amazing words, and I really don't think we need to worry about the game's graphics in any way. Compare that first early demo to what we have in game now and it's complete night and day. I think we can trust the graphics department and the artists. They've done a very good job so far. The last major thing that CRG needs to focus on to truly have a next-gen engine is performance. It's no good having all this cool tech, but the frame rate is on the floor. But unfortunately, that has been the story so far.
Yes. Exactly why I want Jared, Benoit, people dedicated on the server tech teams to literally be more transparent, just like in that Star Citizen Live over a month ago, where Benoit said they were shifting gears and focusing on stability. First principles, getting back to basics. I really want to hear more about that. Come on back. Come on, Jared. Come on, Benoit. Let's get back to that. Stability is the most important number one thing. Everybody knows it. Every gamer into Star Citizen knows it. It's the stability. It's the server tech. Let's go. Let's go. Show us the data. Talk about what's going on. Tell us what you're feeling. Tell us what you're feeling. Tell us what you're thinking. Because at the end of the day, the supporters want to know. A lot of the frustration comes from that. Like, Jesus, people want the stability.
I suppose in some ways it's not surprising that such an ambitious...
Oh, here we go. We got the official poll results right now. how are you feeling about Star Citizen? Go from lowest to highest count. We have one person who's angry. Okay. We have two people that are sad. Wait. We have one that's angry. Sorry. Correct. It's so corny, but I got to put the sound effect board to it. I don't know why, but I'm just going to do it. We got two that are sad. We've got four that don't care, and I think that would be this button.
Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
Okay, four that don't care. And we've got, the winner is happy. 5 people feeling happy. 5's the winner. Happy. Okay. All right. Official poll results.
This game would be so demanding, but
what's up, DY?
Currently you need absolute top-end hardware to get past 60 FPS in the most brutal parts of the game. But CRG's plan to optimize the game in 2025 does seem to be paying off. This channel is all about Star Citizen performance, and over the last few patches, things are gradually getting better in the cities. But the company simply has to keep going. The game is still super tough to run on mid-range hardware. I again think that Star Citizen's performance fate is tied to Squadron 42. I know that some of the optimization work that CRG did for CitizenCon, the playthrough of Squadron, was planned to make its way over into the MMO, and I think that is what we're kind of relying on this year. As CRG optimize their single player game, the hope is that the work comes over to the multiplayer game.
We've already seen that happen. So it's happening right now. We've seen that happen on numerous occasions.
By the end of 2025, we should have a much better idea of how performance is going to look going forward. So, CRG are not quite there yet, but the Star Engine is shaping up to be a bit of a masterpiece in my opinion. Thanks to clever hiring strategy and plenty of money and time, Chris Roberts' choice.
It's fucking beautiful. I mean, no lie, it's fucking beautiful. It's what it is, man. Like, I get lost. I get lost in the fucking environments. I get so fucking immersed, it's ridiculous. The thing that people need is the stability. That's it. I'm going to continually say that word this year. I'm going to continually hammer it out there. People are going to get sick of me for saying it, but it is what needs the focus. I said it to the point where I got them to get fucking Benoit on and say, we're going to focus on stability. You're welcome. You're fucking welcome. I just say it over and over and over and over again. I don't think people understand the work that these people are doing. First off, let's give them a little credit here. Aether's right. Aether's like, it's incredible what they've done. People spend too much time shitting on their engine dev. Yeah, I mean, like, you're absolutely right, Aether. There's so many people that are working at Cloud Imperium that just really get thrown under a bus or disregarded or not even thought of. Like, they do so much fucking work at that place. It's ridiculous. And everybody thinks that they're just sitting on their thumbs or some shit, which is also ridiculous that people think. But yeah, but I will say this: what the fans want, what the gamers want right now is stability, and that's going to take a lot of time. But we do need Benoit to get on more with Jared and tell us what is going on. Be transparent. Tell us where they're at, what they think, what goals can be achieved. Are their objectives getting any closer? What's in their way? What's the roadblocks? Right? Like, do it in an easily digestible, like 10-minute video. Put one out every month. Call it something. Because server tech and stability, the number one most important thing. Period.
To go with the CryEngine all those years ago is now looking like it's going to pay off. A huge congratulations must go to all the devs at CRG over the years who have worked on the engine and transformed it from an engine that was designed for FPS maps into something more advanced than basically any other engine. An impressive engine, though, doesn't guarantee a good game. The next big challenge for CRG is to turn Star Citizen into a good game, but I think it's safe to leave the request to switch to UE5 firmly in the past.
Interesting that he's going back over this. I view this as an older topic. Like, this was something that we were talking about years ago, especially when Unreal Engine was coming out, the newest one, and we were all about it. We were like, holy shit, look at all this. And that, like we learned from the devs, like I've learned from the devs, It's Unreal Engine's really bad with open worlds. It's something to think about, you know. Designing a game on the scale of Star Citizen, you can't. No.